Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of November 2023. Before we get into that, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading where we'll take a look at your actual personal numerology and dive a bit deeper into that, you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. On that note, I'm getting ready to put out the the 2024 year ahead forecast for each life path number. I'll probably have those out in early November. Or let's just say mid-November to be safe. But if you're interested in sort of getting ahead of the curve and you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, because it will be different than, potentially different than the life path forecast. If you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, then book some time with me. I would love to look at that for you. I will also include, if you book before January 2024, then I'll include any time up to that point. So if you book now, then you'll get the rest of October, November, December, and then all of 2024 in your forecast for your year ahead. So, and if you book in January, that's great too. You'll get all of 2024. So, if you're looking to maybe get figure out what's going on potentially for the next couple of months, then this is a great time to book because I will throw those additional months in for free. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at November. I can't believe we're already here, but here we are. So let's take a look. Lovely life path 4s. So November is here and we are working with our own energy. So this month we are working with 4 energy. And so this could be a little bit of an intense month. I think emotionally, this could bring up a lot emotionally that we need to kind of move through and work with and face and acknowledge and all of those things. One thing with 4 energy that tends to be sort of a common theme is that there's usually some kind of traumatic event that occurred early in childhood, typically with a lot of 4s. And the 4 is such a solution-focused energy that it usually will find the quickest route to the solution. And sometimes that means bypassing the emotion. So what can happen with a lot of 4s is 4s will sort of continue to bypass or try to escape dealing with the emotion of a situation, to sort of detach from that and then move straight to the solution of whatever it is, right? So that we can keep building, keep moving forward, et cetera, et cetera. And so we sort of, lose touch of from those emotions, right? However, the emotions will continue to show up, like whatever that trauma, that childhood experience might have been, will continue to show up in different ways until we eventually and finally deal with it, face it, move through it, and transmute that energy. And so what's interesting is I do think that this month there could be a strong emphasis on, feeling the feelings, feeling the emotions, moving through them, working through them, learning and maybe discovering how it is that those emotions are coming up in our day-to-day lives. So if you're a 4 who suppresses emotions, you might see them kind of come out in bursts of anger or frustration or trying to control a situation or an experience to the point of, to an extreme, right? And that can, of course, have effects on those relationships. And so there's, it's kind of, this month is helping us to get to the core of those emotions that need to be dealt with, that we have continued to sort of bypass to not feel whatever that is. And this, of course, isn't going to be for everyone, but because life is going to continue to show us or bring up whatever it is that we need to work through. So if there are emotions that you need to work with or work through, or experiences that you need to work through, you will see them potentially crop up this month, and sort of keep cropping up to more and more intensity until you pause, deal with whatever it is, and then move forward. And the reason why this is I'm kind of really emphasizing the emotions is because for the animal wisdom message, we got walrus energy. So there's definitely something here coming in around escapism, abandonment, right? So there's something here for some of us where we might have abandonment issues, right? Where it's like we haven't fully dealt with that. And it's not really that, if you've moved through some kind of trauma, like true trauma, especially at an early age, those are things that don't really go away. You manage those feelings, those emotions. You work with them, right? You deal with them when they bubble to the surface, and then you move through them, you acknowledge them, you feel them, etc. But those are things where it's like they will leave a scar, right? But the key is to heal whatever that is, and then that scar creates a story that tends to be medicine for your work in the world. So it can actually be incredibly beautiful. But if you are someone who has dealt with abandonment, like at an early age, or, people falling out of your life, throughout your lifetime type thing, these are things that have to be dealt with and worked through. So you may see that come up. So this could actually be a really good month for seeking assistance, help, therapy, or, a third party who's unbiased, who can really help you through the situation and really kind of dig in and work through it, clean it up and let it heal and, create that scar. And then you can use that medicine into the world. But I would say that might be coming up. So if there's an element of escapism where you're using spirituality or, drug, sex, or rock and roll or whatever, I don't know, as a form of escapism, because meditation can also be a form of escapism, trying to leave your body, trying to leave this very human experience type thing can be a form of escapism. And so I think a lot of these themes are going to be coming in November, just to be looked at, to be acknowledged, to be dealt with, and not escaped from. So there's that. Then also with Walrus, there's also this energy of true seeing, really truly getting to the root of something, truly seeing something with clarity, and then making decisions from that space, as opposed to bypassing or escaping something in order to come up with a solution, right? So, and again, it's not going to be for everyone. It might be that you're holding space for someone who's moving through this. That's very possible as well. But, fours sometimes can have this sort of, we kind of get the rap of being more detached emotionally, not in touch with our emotions, or et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, it depends on everything else that's in your chart, and it depends on your own choices and your own evolution, right? But from a numerology standpoint, a lot of times fours can be more detached from that because it's a more practical energy. It's more like, let's get to solving the problem, right? But a lot of times that includes emotions to be able to do that and working through that. So anyway, so for some, this is going to be a month of really just sitting with your emotions, sitting with your feelings, right? Because doing that also opens us up to our intuition so much more, right? Because when we're bypassing those emotions or not working with those emotions, we're also closed off to our intuition, because intuition is feeling. And so there's feeling associated with intuition. So all of this work could be, helping you to open up more to your intuition. And that's the other side of the four that's so beautiful. It's an incredibly intuitive, sensitive energy, incredibly intuitive. So, but in order to hit that, to reach that intuitiveness, you've got to work through the emotions. So there's definitely something here, and this is a big one. So you could see that coming in. Again, this is a very heart-centered energy, four energy. So you could be seeing a lot coming in around sort of commitment, loyalty, heart-centeredness. And what I mean by that is checking in with yourself to make sure that the foundations that you are building or building on are things that you feel aligned with, that your heart is in. And I talk about this a lot with four energy, but it's so true. It's such a loyal, dedicated energy that it can have its eye on the goal and then lose sight of the fact that its heart was no longer in it 6 years ago. So you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's just that very ambitious sort of energy. And so I do think this month is going to be sort of a check-in, a checkpoint type of energy to say, okay, these are your goals. These are where you've been strongly committed to. Check in with yourself and make sure that you're still in it for the right reasons, that you want to be here, that you want to be invested in this, that it feels aligned, and you're not doing it because of tradition or rules and regulations or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying don't break the law, obviously. I'm talking more about like, just to be honest, like if you're in a marriage that your heart has no longer has left the building 10 years ago, but you're in it because of a vow or something like that, which I'm not getting into that whole discussion of, whether, you should stay married for that or whatever. That's a different topic. My point is, for your journey, your heart has to be in it. Otherwise, you're building somebody else's dream. You're not building your own dream. And this lifetime is too short to be building somebody else's dream. So I do think that there's potential this month for some really deep diving into, again, the emotions, but also what is it that you want, and is what you're building and working towards what you want. If it's not, then there's going to have to be some changes, and you're going to have to release control over whatever that is. So a little bit of a raw month, honestly. And I think it's going to require us to pause, and that can be challenging for fours because fours, again, it's a very ambitious energy. But the pause is necessary. And yeah, so however that comes in for you all, but I hope it's a beautiful month. I do think it has the potential to be a month of making great progress in your own personal journey forward, and really highlighting and bringing clarity to the areas where they're no longer serving you. And so what adjustments can you make, right? So big energy this month, fours. Take care. Bye for now.